Welcome to Centre Court with thanks to OMF. Kick back and relax with an adjustable bed from Australian design and owned OMF. Watch sport your way. And of course, Cobram Estate, Australia's most awarded extra virgin olive oil, grown, harvested and first cold pressed in northern Victoria. Welcome to Centre Court after round 4. I'm Bianca Chatfield. Madi Brown is alongside me. What's happened in round 4, Madi? There's plenty to discuss on today's show.
There is so much to discuss. I feel like we get over the weekend and you're like, oh, okay, cool. So, oh, no, here we go again. So, no, lots to discuss. Some great positives, I think. I think we slapped a few teams a couple of weeks ago saying, where are they really at? And, hey, they're back up in the middle of the ladder, the Vixens. So, yeah, I really enjoyed their performance on the weekend.
Well, let's get into the OMF overview. Watch sport your way. And the first thing we like to do is take a look at the ladder and our snakes and ladders of where positions have changed. And you look at that top 4 and there's absolutely no movement at all. But where it does come in, that bottom 4, the Mavericks have skydived down from 5 all the way down to position number 7. Vixens have moved up. Fever have taken a jump. The Giants obviously got their first win and they continue to stay down the bottom. But for the Mavericks and Giants, 1 win and 3 losses. Tricky now to try and work your way into that top 4. Not impossible though. No,
not impossible, especially when you look at the ladder and second sitting on 2 wins and 2 losses and the bottom sitting on 1 win, 3 losses. So you're only 2 games or a game away from sitting in second if you get a good percentage boost. So do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard to see. But yeah, I mean, I think the Mavs, it just shows like in the contest for a lot of the time, and then just it's the fade outs and how long a team can kind of contain that fade out so it doesn't have a pressure or impact on the scoreboard or the end result. But yeah, I think the top 4 stand alone quite high, and they're showing they're kind of like, you know what, this is what we stand for. But in saying that, B, I want to say sometimes the teams that start at the top at the start of the season and they start really, really well do tend to have a bit of a mid-season slump, and we're entering into that little phase of the round. So we'll be interested to see what happens there.
Well, absolutely. And you know what else is interesting? To me, you don't want to get into the battle to get into the top 4 at the end.
No.
And things are starting to settle down. There's been some news, but there's been some standout performances from players too. So let's take a look at our team of the week. This is who we think had standout performances. Obviously, Fowler Nemard. What a comeback she has made in the last 2 games, had such a huge impact for that Fever lineup. Helen Housby continues to dominate. Hannah Mundy, I'm going to come to you shortly about her performance for the Vixens. I thought Latanya Wilson continues to be that really important jigsaw piece for the defensive puzzle of the Thunderbirds now that Shamira Sterling-Humphrey is out. But Courtney Bruce as well. She really came to play for the Lightning and, you know, made them think differently.
Absolutely, and it's nice to see her start to get into a bit of form. We've seen her struggle, obviously a bit of an interrupted pre-season. What I love about that team of the week is 7 different teams represented, only the Firebirds missing. So it just, I think, shows how that competition over the last couple of weeks has got a little bit more competitive. Some of these names that we haven't seen are rising to the top. We've got the standalones like your Housby. But you wanted to ask me about Mundy and be like her performance, I think, from last week to obviously round 3 to round 4 from Fever against the Mavericks on the weekend. You could just see that it obviously didn't sit well, her performance against the Fever, and she'd gone and done a lot of work on that second phase or that first phase on the centre pass. Her feeding was really good. We would usually say Austin sets the tone down that attack end for the Vixens, but Austin, if she is starting to get contained and defenders are going, you know what, you are the one we need to isolate, Mundy is where the load is being picked up for the Vixens, and it showed that when she can pick up that load, Garvin can pick up that gold. Vixens are a much more, I guess, threatening strength and threatening threat to the competition because they're the ones that drive their clinical standards. And it was great to see. I mean, I love a really good performance from the WA anyway.
Of course, but it was almost like she had this look in her eyes. It was like, see ball, get ball, control everything that's going on in this attack, and everyone just lifted around her.
And we spoke about that who she was coming up against was Amy Parmenter in that kind of matchup, and they're both on the cusp of diamond selections, and you know, maybe if you win that battle it kind of just puts you up there going, you know what, I can compete with some of these bigger names in the league, and I want to show that I'm ready for that next step. And I thought she absolutely did that. So it just shows, I think, some of these youngsters, now that they've had not 1, not 2, 3 or 4 seasons under their belt. You just sometimes need time. It's like those seasoned bodies, seasoned campaigners. You just understand the mental load, the physical load, and some of those names, even a Riley Batchelor, they're coming to the top for their teams and the surface, and you're like, okay, is there potentially, I think in the next year or so, a bit of a changing of the guard in some of those teams?
I think we're definitely going to see that. Well, that was the OMF overview. Kick back and relax with an adjustable bed from Australian design and owned OMF. Watch sport your way. Now, after having their first win of the season, we thought, what club better to get on than the Giants? Amy Sligar, who is joining us from New South Wales, of course, I'm sure she's been celebrating with the team the big win on the weekend. Amy, thanks for joining us. How does it feel to have got that win? Because I'm sure, I mean, it was great to see all the excitement after the game, but I'm sure there's a bit of a relief too to finally get that first one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thanks for having me. And it is a bit of relief, but I think it's also, it's like joy and happiness because we knew that we could win. But we also knew that we had to put our best performance out. And I think we did that. We were far from perfect, but no one's ever going to be perfect. But to get the win, we're super happy with that. And hopefully it's the start of many more to come.
Amy, where do you think, you said obviously areas of the game that needed to improve because you knew you had it in you as a group, it just wasn't coming out onto the floor. What areas do you think you really absolutely knuckled down on and nailed on the weekend to get that win?
Yeah, definitely. We wanted to focus on winning more ball higher up the court as opposed to waiting till it's in the goal circle, especially with these, tall, strong goal shooters at the back. So I think that was our defensive focus, and then attacking, making sure we're playing short and sharp and coming towards the ball, but then also having that mix of playing with freedom and letting the ball go and trusting each other. So I think we kind of found that this weekend, and it gives us so much confidence to know that we can do it and it's possible. And yeah, as I said, plenty more to work on.
For you too, personally, like the last couple of years, you've really been building your game, and the combination between you and Jamie Lee Price when she's at centre and you're at wing defence, I mean, you're two pretty tough players for anybody to have to come up against. What's that been like learning and learning alongside Jamie Lee Price and getting to play with her as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I have so much respect for Jamie. I'm lucky that I get to train against her at training and then play with her in the game and at training as well. So I feel like I learn just as much playing on her as I do playing with her. But yeah, she's been amazing for my game. I'm really lucky. I think you've got to surround yourself with the best to be the best, and she's certainly one of the best. So I'm very lucky, and I try and make the most of that. Even in the gym, like matching up with her in the gym, trying to get as strong as her, as fast as her. And no, it's really cool. I'm lucky to have people like Jamie, but so many other mid-quarters that I've grown up playing with. I had Palmy to learn off. I've had Maddie Hay, and then other players come into the mix as well. So I'm really lucky.
Well, Amy, you'll be one of those players that youngsters look up to and go, I want to emulate my game off you. So what is it about your game that do you think can set you apart as a really tough opponent in that wing defence position and even sliding into centre when needed? Is there any strengths? I always think players need to know their strength and then even strengthen their strengths. So what do you think yours are?
Yeah, I mean, I always find this a really tough question, but it's a really good question, and it's nice to sit back and reflect on that. I think I probably consider myself a player that will never give up. Like, I'll keep going and going and going, and I think I want to be one of those wing defences that starve the wing attack of the ball. So I might not get the most amazing intercepts, but if I can continue to shut down my player, I feel like I've done my job, and I want the goal defence and goalkeeper to get ball behind me. And I think Jodie, Erin and Tilly are doing that really well at the moment.
Oh, see, giving them all the glory. A true wing defence, I tell you. There's no stats. It must frustrate you. It frustrates me being a former defender and seeing how little stats we have that can show the hard work that a wing defence does. And that is, to make a goalkeeper goal defence look good, but also...
It's the selfless work.
It's the tracking work, it's the denying, it's making sure the ball goes over across the sideline. Like, it is really just a thankless job that you have to do half the time. What are you, as a Giants team, obviously you work hard on the court, what do you guys do off the court to have a bit of fun and to, keep up that team spirit away from the hard, intense, competitive games?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably just as competitive off the court. We love trivia. That's our big...
Really?
Oh, we spend hours and hours doing it. I think any moment we have free, we've got books, we've got all the different online websites. We use ChatGPT trivia. We absolutely love it, and we're super competitive.
Who's good at it?
Or Joe and Maddie are probably the best. But
Who
then
needs a
we've
bit of
also
work? I always love this one. Who needs a bit of work?
Poor Hope isn't one of our
She's
youngsters.
only 18.
I was going to say, surely Jodie's
Yeah.
going, I'm not sure about half of this either.
Oh, Jodie doesn't even participate. She just sits there. Like, she's out of it, but it's really cool because we all kind of bring our own special niches. Like, I'm good at geography. Sophie's really good at Disney movies. Maddie's got capital cities covered. Any capital city in the world, Maddie Hay knows it. Joe's good at airport codes. What's Matisse good at? She's the royal family. She's really good at that.
Great.
I think it's really cool that we all bring our little niches into the team, and we've got all pass marks for our different quizzes that we try and hit, and some days are better than others, just like netball, I guess.
I love that. Who's the quiz master? Is there a quiz master?
Yeah, we definitely have our roles. Matisse is our quiz master. But then there's one particular quiz that then Maddie Hay is the quiz master for. And then I'm the scribe, so I write down the answers and mark the answers. So we all play our role, which is really cool.
Well, know your role, play your role on the court, know your role, play your role off in trivia. Amy, we've seen, I've gone a little bit in the socials. We like to keep it a bit real here on this show, but you've done a little bit of work with Whatability in the past. Are you still doing some of that work off the court?
Yeah, definitely. I work with Whatability when I can, and I love getting involved in support work and helping, kids, families, adults that aren't as fortunate as me. And I'm so lucky that I play sport, and it gives me the time to go back and work in those environments. And I think it gives me so much perspective. Like, you can have a hard day at training, and then you go to a Whatability event or work with one-on-one with a participant, and they just bring so much. Like, I feel like they give more to me than I do to them, but it's really nice. And then, you get some of them to games, which is even more special, or you see them floating around training and things like that. And I'm so lucky to be involved in that sort of work.
That's so great to hear. Another thing I saw on the socials was a superstition that you have, or is it socks that you wear when you're playing? Can you give us a bit of a background into that? Because I must admit, I keep reminding myself to have a look when you're out there playing if I could see them. But do you keep wearing these socks that you spoke about?
Well, I'm actually not at the moment because I've worn through them. So I've got these socks that I got a couple years back when we were playing on the sunny coast. We went to Australia Zoo, and they have little meerkats on them, and I just liked them. I wore them, and they became my superstition, and I wore them so much. I shredded through the back of the heel. My sister bought me 3 new pairs. I've shredded through them, so I actually don't have any at the moment. But hey, we're going up there this weekend, so it could be an opportunity to get some.
I was about to say that you're going out there, you just need to go see the Irwins and say, hey, I've got these socks, I need some more.
Robert, bring them to the game for you.
Absolutely, bring the ball and my socks. I love it. But your twin plays and is part of the Sunshine Coast Lightning. You talk about you competitive as giants. I can imagine even as siblings, there's a bit of rivalry there. Going out there this week, is there, family kind of title rights on the line here as well?
Yeah, 100%. And I think we've got a few family members making the trip up to watch our games. Like, I'm playing on Sunday, and Nat plays 2 games in the reserves league as well. So we've got some family there. So yeah, it's 100% bragging rights on the line. We were lucky enough to play against each other in pre-season, and she's whispering in my ear.
I love it.
It's really cool to see her, thriving and loving life up there and loving her netball. And I'm biased, but I think she's an amazing player. So it's really cool to see her do her thing.
See, I love hearing that too, because obviously you'd be competitive. Obviously you want to win for yourself, but how much conversation do you, because we all know about the support networks as athletes that we need behind the scenes. How much do you two talk to each other during the week and supporting each other through the highs and lows that you might go through on and off the court?
Yeah, we probably talk on the phone every day. Some days it could be for hours on end. Other days it could be a quick 5-minute check-in. But I truly think I'm so lucky to have her, and I wish everyone could have a twin sister to lean on, because I think she's probably the one person that fully understands, what you're going through. And I love my mum and dad and my partner and my friends, but they're not in there every day in a netball environment. But so I think, yeah, Natalie's been someone that I've always lent on, and she's very smart. She's very wise. I hope she doesn't see this because she'll go to her head, but she's a really good person to talk to things with.
What part of the trivia would she be good at if she took part in it?
Oh, that's true. I think she'd be good at like science and biology. That was always her thing, and like, yeah, the human body. That would be her niche.
Love it. Okay, last question. Going up playing the Sunny Coast Lightning. Obviously, so much can happen. It's such an early part of the season, and the challenge is going to be for all teams to try and lock themselves into that top 4. How do you think you're going to go and beat the Sunny Coast Lightning on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited. It's another challenge. They've got diamonds all over the court. So I think for us, it's about sticking to our plan and our structures and knowing what we do well. So yeah, it'll be super exciting. And I think if we can get that next win on the board, then anything can happen. Like, it's such a close competition. I truly think any team can win, and it's about who shows up on the day. So we're really excited. We've got review on Thursday and we'll preview on Thursday. But we'll be watching lots of footage and getting prepped for the game.
Well, we absolutely have loved having you on our show today, Amy. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure to get to know you more, and we can't wait to watch you for the rest of the season.
Lovely. Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Well, time for the good oil. Thanks to Cobram Estate Australian Extra Virgin Olive Oil. The big news this week is that Shamira Sterling-Humphrey and her husband Andrew are expecting their first baby. It is a baby boy. And doesn't it make sense now? The emotions around that end of the game in round 3 for Shamira Sterling-Humphrey. She had tears rolling down her face. The week before, you saw her, she was in phenomenal form, but she spoke about how she wasn't feeling herself out there and her heart rate was like peaking. And now it all makes sense that she had a baby in her belly, and what unbelievable performances she's been able to put out there in the first few rounds.
Oh, I mean, there'd been a few little whispers. I think, people going behind the scenes, especially in TGC being in Adelaide, people were, who could have possibly...
Does she have tendinitis?
Yeah,
Does she not?
What is happening? And, Romelda sat out and had like surgery, and it was like, well, did she have, it's all the whispers that happened. But congratulations, obviously, to Shamira. I mean, it's such exciting news, but yeah, I'm blown away with what some of these women can do. I mean, you see Emily Maddox playing in a grand final last year, and now with baby May, but like, you just are blown away with what these women can go through and put their bodies through. But yeah, it's exciting news, but I think Adelaide fans, as much as they are, this is great news for her and her husband, they're kind of going, where does our maybe three-peat stand now? And then the loss on the weekend, it was like, ooh, no Shamira, no Thunderbirds, or where are we at? But
and it was interesting to see that it caused chaos down the attack end, not having Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, which is not something that you would think would happen instantly, but it was just, they're used to getting so much ball, so many opportunities that attack end has. And I think for across every player in whoever's out there in their starting 7 position, it's going to take a little bit of time. They're going to have a few teething problems, I reckon, in the next few weeks. But I think once they do find their rhythm without Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, there is nothing stopping them from competing all the way to the end.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes it's just like every single player finding maybe an extra 5% in their game to potentially cover something. I mean, what we've loved about Tanya Obbs is the fact that she rotates her team and they're real role players. So, no one player is bigger than the team itself. So I think she's instilled that in that group. And like you said, I think just a couple of weeks to fine tune. They've still got 3 weeks to obviously try maybe a couple of different players in that temporary replacement role before they finally announce it. Who knows? Will it be, someone different? It might be a junior, might be in Adelaide. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
That's a really good point that you make. So if you have a temporary replacement player and you use them for more than 3 weeks, they have to become your permanent replacement player. So they have a 3-week grace period where they could bring in, if they use Visser for 3 weeks, then she has to be their permanent. So we might see them changing around. Who knows what they're planning? They certainly do keep their cards very close to their chest. But you know what? I don't mind that. I quite like that they've been doing all of this behind the scenes in preparation for knowing what's about to come.
Adelaide have always, just in the last few years, kept a really low profile. I'm not too sure about that. We might need to get someone on the ground there. Who knows? But we'll see.
Well, that was the good oil. Thanks to Cobram Estate, Australia's most awarded extra virgin olive oil. Grown, harvested and first cold pressed in northern Victoria. Madi, time time for your Maddie's Minute. What do you have for us this week?
Well, I thought it was perfect timing because looking at other codes, I think netball, we're always trying to find what's next for us. Where can we take our game to the next level? And watching NRL and the AFL, they have a magic round. They have a gather round. And I was like, do you know what? Maybe netball needs a round where we all go to the same place, we get amongst it. Now, yes, you'll turn around and say TGC is a bit of a taste of that, but everyone loves it. Everyone gets around it. It's a nice girls' weekend. You can go to the Barossa. You can add on things, whether it's in Adelaide and we can maybe tag along to the AFL gather round as well, or whether we try somewhere different. I also think because we're rotating the grand final, this is another opportunity for another state to potentially showcase. If they're not holding the grand final, they could hold this round and get that tourism boost. And yeah, as I said, we all love it. So why not? I don't know what we'd call it. It's got to be an all-in. I know here if you need or here if you don't. I don't really
Here
know.
if you need round. Come on over.
Yeah, come on over. Here we go. So I'm not too sure, but I'd be interested to hear what our Centre Court lovers think.
Yes. What would you call it if we had a gather round, magic round version? And I love the idea of it because what blows me away every single year is when you go to the Super Netball Grand Final, Netball Australia will have a function and there's usually 700 plus people there for a luncheon. And it's girls going away for a weekend, they want to watch some netball, they want to have a great time as well. And it's very much just such a fun vibe. And they don't even, they book way before they know who even makes the grand final. And I love that they're enjoying the game. And so imagine being able to watch your favourite team as well the whole weekend. So I think we should definitely encourage that to happen somewhere. But let us know if you have a particular name that you think it should be called. We want to hear from you. Let us know on our socials. Well, let's hear from this week's local legend thanks to CRT. Farming starts with CRT. Now today we get to hear from Abby and Tori from Tatura Football Netball Club. Take a listen.
My name is Abby and I play in B Reserve for Tatura.
I'm Tori and I play 15s for Tatura.
Describe your team in 3 words.
I would describe the B Res team as energetic, versatile and resilient.
I'd say loud, good sportsman and resilient.
What's your pre-game ritual?
My pre-game ritual varies week to week. I don't think I have one set in stone, but definitely involves like a pre-game snack, a pre-game boogie, and like I always have a drink bottle of water and like a drink bottle of Hydrolyte, and I just seem to be carrying around a million things all at
once. Mine's probably wearing the same socks every week. Like, I've got a game day sock.
To be fair, me too. Yeah, got to be the same socks. Can't be like ones that fall down because like that's not good. Yeah.
What's your favourite netball position and why?
Mine is goal attack. Yeah. Because goal attacks are perfect. That's why. Yeah. I think goal attack's a fun position. Like you get a bit of like room to move. Yeah, you get to shoot. Yeah, except if you're not having a good goaling day, then it's not so fun. But yeah, it's good. Anything else to add about goal attack?
No.
Absolutely love that from Abby and Tori. I mean, how stunning was the background then too? And you know, I think Maddie and I, both playing at Vixens together, would agree the pre-game boogie was an essential part of the change room, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you had to do it with the right people that wanted to boogie. There was other people that were sleeping or doing other stuff, which sounds ridiculous. But Jiva Mentor, she always just liked to have a little cap nap. Yeah, weird. Whilst the music was pumping inside. But socks is a theme. Socks is a thing. I mean, I just made sure I just had set.
Well, we always had specific socks we had to wear, didn't
Yeah.
we? And anyway, that was our local legends, no matter where you live or what you farm. It starts with CRT. That video, though, went for 10 minutes, and we appreciate it so much, all the effort you two went into to film that and to the rest of the club. Make sure you put that on your socials because I'm sure plenty will want to go and see all of your answers, and keep sending them in each and every week. We want to hear from more of you and more clubs out there around Australia. Well, this week we have the Battle of the Birds for our next match, and we really want to focus on the Firebirds and Thunderbirds because we've touched on the Thunderbirds a little bit already. and what could happen with this side and the teething problems that might happen in the next couple of weeks. So for the Firebirds, do you think they're 2-2 now? Do you think this is a great chance to take on the Thunderbirds? Like, if there's any opportunity to play the Thunderbirds, is this the best time where you think you could rattle them?
Absolutely, I do. And I mean, you look at even their performance on the weekend and just the volume they're putting up nearly 74 attempts a game. And that's with some twos, but mainly predominantly ones. But they have got the volume to be able to put that scoreboard pressure, because we know on the flip side, the Thunderbirds like to obviously put a halt on the amount of scoring ability and kind of shutting it down. So, you know, maybe if you put that pressure on, they're going to have to score a little bit more, the Thunderbirds, and look for those 2-pointers, which might create more opportunities. I think the Firebirds are in the hot seat to take this one out, especially with Cholok in there, Shamira Sterling not there. Who are they going to put up against her? How does that change their dynamics? I think they've got to hunt early, the Firebirds, and maybe create some more gained ball. And I'm loving what that circle defence is being able to create with Shearer and Bakul-Doran in there. They're just being able to generate a little bit more ball for that attack end. So I feel like it's going to be a really tight battle, but yeah, I'm going to have to go the Firebirds on this one.
And I hope they leave Emily Moore out at goal attack. Like, leave her out there, let her find her rhythm, let her just continue to build her game, because she's getting better and better every week in that role, especially with Cholok. And I wonder if Lucy Austin will be back, because it sounded like she was admitted out of the 10 for their last game, and I wonder if they'll bring her back in now for this game. And Tanya Obbs spoke about letting her play in the State League, potentially just to build some confidence back into her game.
I also, like, it's just different approaches from coaches, right? So we talked about Tanya Obbs. Like, she's worked over the last few seasons, not just this season, on role players, on people going in there, doing what they need to do, having 5 minutes, coming off, doing those bursts. I think, you know, last week you talk about that more rotation, and it's like some players need to be out there for a little bit more consistency and continuity and building that spine. I think we're going back to that spine and having those impact and rotations through the rolling subs. But you don't need to just be kind of emotionally changing. I think sometimes on the weekend we saw coaches go, oh, I've got to quickly make a change to stop the bleeding of the run that was happening by their opposition. Yes, you want to halt it, but sometimes you just got to let those players kind of ride it out and see what they can do in those moments. Yes, I know game wins and losses is crucial, but sometimes I think you've got to find that mix between emotionally changing to stop stuff or quickly making knee-jerk reactions compared to just let sometimes the players figure it out and ride through the storm.
That is going to go a long way into success, I believe, at the end of the season when they build up that resilience. Time now for the Strutties Social Scoop. Strutties innovating netball apparel. Now, this week we have a question from Alice. Alice, thank you so much for sending it through. Now, she asks, are we missing an opportunity to play netball in some non-traditional time slots? So think about Friday, Thursday night. I mean, we used to play that back in CBT. ANZ Champs days we didn't, did we? It was back in the early days. Friday nights as players, Friday night games, we absolutely loved it. And then you had the whole weekend to recover as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think we should be having a game around those time slots somewhere?
I don't mind the Friday. I think Thursday's hard because local netball usually train on a Thursday night. Wednesdays is juniors. So I think Thursday nights are probably a little bit of a miss. But Friday, I quite like it. And it doesn't have to be every single week. It might just be once a month or every couple of weeks we have that Friday, or depending on if you've got a themed round or things. One game on the Friday, you might have two on the Saturday and that one on the Sunday. That really kind of like stretches it out a little bit. Or even just that one on the Saturday because everyone's playing their netball. So we're getting more eyeballs on the game, but also at home, but also in stadium. So I love that we've gone to those afternoon slots on the weekend, but where can we make more? Friday nights. Like, why not? Even before a football game.
Yes.
Like, I think sometimes we're a bit like, oh no, we want to stand alone on our own, but why not use that AFL netball, like that footy netball?
And AFL on a Friday night starts really late as well, so you could do that after work, go straight to the game, the netball. And we're really thinking about what happens here in Melbourne because it all happens in the same precinct, right?
Yeah, but it would be great. I think obviously regional, especially regional netball in Victoria is huge, that footy netball connection. Like where can we build that little bit more of fan base but also exposure and just really like get people to come and love our game and the entertainment value that it does have.
Well, thank you so much for your question. Please keep sending them in on our socials and we'll keep bringing them to you each and every week. That was our social scoop, all thanks to Strutty's netball apparel design for the next generation of superstars. Style meets performance at Strutty's, struttys.com.au. Thank you for joining us today, Maddie. Thank you to you, and we hope you can go and enjoy all of the round 5 action. A big thank you to OMF, Watch Sport Your Way, and Cobram Estate Australian Extra Virgin Olive Oil.